Hello guys, this is Joseph from Joe Concept. How are we doing today? So this particular video is the last part of the table lamp series, which we started some months back. In this video, you're going to look at how you are going to animate this table lamp, just like you can see on my screen. And if you remember when we started this series, we created this lamp from scratch. So if you haven't watched that, I'll just put a link in the description so you can just quickly get to that part before coming back to this. So if you feel this is something you want to learn, please do give me a like and a thumbs up because it helps me on YouTube algorithm. And if you're new to my channel, please do subscribe because I do tutorials like this every day. So without taking much of your time, let's get into the tutorial. So you can see what we have in the scene. This is the lamp we have in the last part of the series for this lamp where we have rendered this. And then I've also gone ahead to create just a platform that we're going to be bringing this lamp to. And then we have one camera. So what I want to do is I'm going to quickly set up my scene so that I can have a two split screen. And this, I'll press N to hide my property bar and T to hide my toolbar. And I want to always look through the camera from here. So I'll press number pad and this will show me what the camera is showing. So whatever I do here, I'll just get the outputs being displayed here. All right, so I want to have an animation where this object fly into the scene and comes here and gradually settles down back into on this platform. So I want to have like a two camera setup for that. So if you look at this camera, I've already renamed it cam shot one. So I want to have a second cam that will be on this platform that's just going to focus on this platform. So I'll just quickly do that by Shift D to duplicate that and then bring this down along Z. Sorry. So in this case, this is not Z, I'm thinking. So I'll just press escape, no issues. So I can just bring this down. So for me to see what this camera is seeing, I'll just hold down control and tap the number pad. And this is what the camera is seeing here. So basically I don't need to see it here. This is just what I want. So it's obvious that it's not centered. So I'll just bring this till it looks centered. And then another thing I also want to do for this camera is I'll go to the camera settings. I'm going to change the focal length to like 120. I really want to push this in. I think I can still go with 150 just to push it really in. And I think this looks centered. In my opinion, that's fine. And now this is too close, so I will need to bring this back and be a little bit up like so. So this is my second shot. So let me just quickly rename this shot two. So that's for that. So for any time I go to this shot, it's going to show me what this shot one is and shot two is. Okay. So we have that done. And then the next thing is I want to quickly start creating a setup for the lamp. If you notice, I have the lamp body, which every other part is parented to. So if I move the body, every other part moves with it. Every other part moves with it, really. So that's fine. But I don't want to just animate with this lamp body. So I just want to have separate um, controls for them. So I want to have a control to move this object. I want to have control for all the three rotations, separate rotations. So I want to have them so that I will just know that I'm rotating about Z here, about Y there, and about um, X there. So for me to do that, I'm going to use an empty, Shift A, go to empty. We can use box and just scale this down a little bit. This is going to be our move control. So it's going to be majorly like the master. So I'll just call this CTRL underscore master MOV for move. So this is going to be like the function. So it's a control and this master, and what function is it? It's just to move. Okay, so it's not doing any other thing other than moving. And then we're going to create other things here. So now the thing is for me to constrain this control to just moving, because if I try to G, it moves fine. If I rotate, it's rotating. If I scale, it's scaling. So I don't want this to be the case. So first of all, let me apply my scale control A, scale. I don't want that to be the case. I want to only be able to move and not be able to rotate. So I'll scale. I'll go to the rotation value. Then I'm going to lock all these as well as the scale. So if I try to scale, I won't be able to scale. If I try to rotate, I won't be able to rotate, but move will be able to allow me move. So that's the first control. And then the second one is Shift A. I'm going to put in a circle. So for this circle, let's just bring the radius down like so. I'm going to create another one. Let's just create everything before we start naming them. So I will duplicate this instead of just creating another one. If D will duplicate, so I want to rotate this duplicate R and then Z, and then I'll go 90 degrees. And then I have that right there. So I'll duplicate this again. You can just select this, Shift D, R, maybe X. So rotate this and I'll put this 90 degrees. So we have all of this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring this one down like so, just maybe somewhere here. Okay, that's that. And then we will leave these other ones where they are. So we can start to rename them. We've already renamed this, we've locked something. So let's see what we want to rotate here. We want to, so now another thing to note is that if you notice for these other circles, their locations are zeroed, but this location is not zeroed. So I'm going to reset my location transform. So Control A, and then if I choose location, it's going to move it back up, and that's not what I want. So just a Control A, I'll come to the location to delta. So what that will do is going to, if you come to the object section, it's going to put that value to this delta transform and then zero it out. So that's that. So let's look at what we are rotating. I also want to um take my rotation Control A, rotation to delta, that is 0. So for this one, I think we'll have to do the same thing. Control A, rotation to delta, last one is 0. Everything is fine now. So let's start renaming. So before we name, we want to know where we want to rotate. So if I come to rotation, so yeah, I want to rotate this about my Y. All right, you can see this rotation Y. So I'm going to lock every other ones, and then I will be able to name this. And let's just copy out this copy. And this is the one, paste. So this is going to be control rot underscore Y. So I have that. So I'm going to look at the next one and quickly do the rotation. And then I change my mind. So I'll just quickly look at them again and name. So let's look at the second one and see. This is obviously not the rotation. Yeah, this is the rotation. So I think everything will just rotation Y, 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 Y. Okay, so but then let's just we will now try to reference it with the global rotation. I think that's what we'll do too. And see why we're having that Y is because it's set to normal. So let's just change this to global and let's see why. So all right, so but then we'll just have use the global to set it up. So let's copy this, Control C and Control V, and just change this. So we want to rotate this about the Y actually. So we just leave this as Y. But the initial one, which is this, we want to rotate this about the Z. So we change this to Z. And then the last one, which is this, we are rotating this about our X. So we'll just paste this and X. So that will be the stuff that we are going to do. So now the next thing we want to do is to look for how to start to parent these objects. And let's look at the hierarchy we're going to use. Obviously, this master will be the parent of everything. And so I know I'm going to be rotating this at this point. I'm also going to be rotating at this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this the base object to be the main object that is the parent of the body, while which is the z. Then the z will now be a child to the y. No, will be a child to the x, and while the x will now be a child to the y. The reason is because these are my main controller. So these other ones are just other things. So let's quickly do this. So I'll select these objects and hold down shift, select this, make sure this is the yellow object, then control P. We're going to parent and keep the transform. So now I have this uh, rotating this object. And then I'm going to select this. Like I said, I'm going to make it a child of the Y. So hold down shift, select the Y. Oh, sorry, the X. Yeah, X. So control P, keep transform, that is done. And then I'm now selecting the X and the Y last, control P, keep transform. So the last thing is I'll select this Y and then shift select the boss, which is the master, control P, and keep transform. So now we now have the hierarchy. This will allow us to move. This is the next in hierarchy. I can't move. So it's allowing me to move. Remember, we don't want it to allow us to move. So we're going to lock all of this. But we forgot to do that. We only want this to affect the Y, this, right? So we're going to lock this other one. So let's check this one, which is only going to allow us to. So let's lock this, and let's see what is going to allow us change. That's not what we want. So lock that. This is actually what we want. So like I said, even though it's Y, but then we are using the global. Okay. And then the last one, which is, I guess this is already been um, set. So now we can't move, we can't scale, we can only rotate about that axis. Okay. And likewise, this we can only rotate about this axis, and then this we can only rotate about this axis. So that's the control for this. And basically that is all we need. And the next is just to start setting up the object. So let's first off go into our outputs and make sure our frame rate is set. 30 frames per second is fine. And then we still have 20, 200 yet. So we'll just look at it. We can go and change it later on. So let's start animating. So I will start with this object, which is the master. That's what we're going to be using to make. So let's move our frame up a little bit, maybe like 40, and keyframe the location. You can already see. So press I here, and then I'll come to 0, or let's just say like 10. I want this to come down out. So I want actually want it to fly in from here. So, but now the thing before I start doing this, I want to let me go back. I want to click on this auto key so that the next time I change anything, I don't need to press R. It will just record the available. So now if I move this here, you see what's happening is trying to move this in front, but that's actually not what we want. But actually want it in front, but not coming in from the front. We want it to come in from this side. So I have to still come here and go to where we started from here. So I'll move this to this side, right? So we just feel like it's coming in from this. See? And that's fine. It's coming into this shot from here. So let me just quickly play to clear. So I think the timing is too much. So let's just bring it. It's too soon. So let's bring it again. All right, this is fine. Even though we have easing in and out, so I'm going to set that later on. So while this comes into this place, we want to make sure that the rotation is now moved. So we'll come back to this. Let's look at the rotation we want to start with first. We want to start with the rotation um, Y, all right? So we want to start with rotation Y. So let's go back to where we started from, which is here. I'm going to keyframe the rotation Y, which is this. So I will come to my object and then keyframe this by hitting I here. It will try to keyframe this other one, so I'll just remove them. So we know that this is the only one we are keyframing. So let's go to 60. So what we need to do for the rotation Y is just change this. So while we're changing, you're seeing what's happening also in the output. So maybe we'll go 60 degrees and it will record that. So we see the movement is coming in from here and then it flies in. So that's fine. That's good. And another thing I also want is for the for this object, I want to change the rotation. So I will first off change this to normal. That will help us set all of these things we're looking for. So I'll go back to my 10. I'll keyframe this by pressing I, turn off all these ones again, then go to 60. So I want to, sorry, I'll just select this, go to my rotation, and then I will just rotate about that point. This is just what, so I'll keep rotating till I see what I'm looking for here. It gives me what I'm looking for. So maybe this will be 30 degrees. Yes. And then we'll rotate that. So you see this object coming in. So why am I doing that is because before this, look at what we have. It looks too flat. So, which is why we are making this like this so we can have that detail. And that's why I'm doing that. So while I have this done, you see, this is fine. So another thing I want is I want this object to continuously rotate like that all through the end of the animation. So from the beginning to the end, I want it to continue to rotate, but I'm going to do that as the last animation set. And the reason is because I still want this lamp to come down and settle. So while it settles down, I want the label to show in front of my final camera. So we have to do that from the end before we go back. So it's more of a reverse engineering. So let's go back to where we are. So while we are here, I want to keep this keyframe for a particular period of time. So the idea is it stays like this and then explodes. Every of this part will come out. And that's just basically what I'm trying to do here. So, but it will stay for a while before that happens. So what I'll do is I'll select, make sure I'm in my normal mode. I'm going to select this and accept this body. I really do not need the body will stay where it is. So I'll select that, hold down shift, select this, lamp, and then this. And then I'm going to keyframe that. Let's just come to this place. I'm going to keyframe their position. So I'll just come to location, I on their location, and then it will keyframe that. So I said I wanted it to stay for this period, and then I will also still keyframe this location. So it stays there for this period before it explodes. So let's go to 100 and let's start moving them. So if I come here and I go to move, I can move this right here. And so while I'm moving, I'm also looking at the frame. I can actually come here, turn off this so that I can see the output. So I'll select this, move this up, and that is coded. I do not want it to fully go out. We can actually go out of frame. And let's go to the bulb. The bulb will come into this. Let's go to the little hanger and let's move it here. And then this platform, this object right there, also move that. I actually want this to really show. And let's bring the hanger up more, like so, and then the bulb. And now we have this. And let's check this, and that's that. this, 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 and then that. So remember what happened, and this is the only thing that got recorded, but that's not a problem. And the good thing is that all these other parts I've already zeroed them out, so it's easy for me to do. So if I bring this back to this frame, I can always go back to all of them. So like this, change this back to 0, and it'll be recorded. Do the same thing to this, 0 that, and then select this also, 0 that, select this, 0 everything, and that will just give us what we want. So you can see that. And again, I said I wanted to hold this at this point. So I'll just come to this that were not recorded, this, this, and then this. I'll select this, Shift D, and move them here. So now they've now been held at that point. That's done. So once we have this up here, if I want to change the timing, it's just a matter of selecting all of them like so, and then come to this and move this close. And what will happen is that it's going to explode. See, if I still want it to go really fast, just move the keyframe soon. See what happens. So I'll just move it all to this. I think this is fine. So I think that's too slow. So I'll just bring this here. Yeah, that's fine. So that's fine. So while all of them are still selected, I want to keep them up for a while before they come back. So while they're all selected, select this, Shift D, and move this. This will be the hold time, and they will hold for that period of time. And after that, I want them to come back to their position. So what I just need to do is I'll select this guy, Shift D, and move them here. And everything comes to come back to. So you see, stay a little bit, explode, stay for a while, and then gradually come back down. So while we are here, when they started, I held them here. I also want to change the values of those things that we've changed. So, like for instance, they held up to this place and then came back at this point. So at 120, I want to select this. I will Shift D and bring this here. And also for this, Shift D, bring this here, just to hold. What I'm holding is, if I go and change the value at this point now, it will not hold, it will just start coming back down. And that's not what we want. So we'll select this. We'll bring this first keyframe, Shift D, and bring it here. You change the rotation, that's fine. And then go back to, okay, so I missed one more thing. So this is here, this guy. So I'm going to Shift D and bring this here. Then let's come back to these points and then select this. Go to the first one, Shift D, and bring this here. And now this settles back down. But the only thing I left is just the master. And the reason why I left that master is because the master is not going back to the initial position, which is here. The master is coming down. All right. So at this point, the master is coming down. So we just come to this master and then we will bring the master down like this. So let's just quickly position the master and also try to center it. You can see it's not centered, so we just bring it right here and here. Maybe I want it to be on top. So let's just quickly see what that camera is seeing. So this is what the camera is seeing. So the master will be positioned, like so. So if I look through now, you see the way it flies back down and then settles. All right, so that's it. So if we play through everything now, so I think at this point I need to now start doing my animatics because I want to see what's happening for all the camera shots. So go to my first frame, go to my camera one, which is this. I want this to be the shot I'm going to be seeing. So once I have the camera selected, go to frame, bind camera to marker, and camera shot one is here. And it will come all the way here. And once it starts coming down, once it goes like halfway, I want to I want to switch to the next camera at this point. So I'll select shot two, marker, find marker, this becomes my shot two. So it just be like, as this is coming down off here, the next one is picking the shot, and that's just it. So I can always see everything at that point. So at this point now, I want to now do the last keyframe or the last object, which is this right here. So at this point, this is going to be, I want this label to be here at this rotation. So I will just come to the output and record this, and I can turn off all of these ones. And then I will come all the way here. So I want this rotation to come in from just like this. So this is the rotation. I want it to come this way. Okay, I don't know if you can see it. So I want it to come this way. So what I'm going to do is to select this at this point. I want the rotation to go like this. Yes. So I will go like maybe we should go minus, sorry, let me just do that again. So let's just say 180 maybe. So we'll just come here and put 180. I don't need all of these shots because they are not needed. And I just have this. So like I said, I want this to continue from the beginning. So I'll just select this, move this to the beginning. And then what happens is that they will continue to rotate like that. And while every other thing is, you can see that's the shot I'm looking at. So I can now select this, right click, change my interpolation to linear because I want the rotation to be consistent, linear. So there's no easy in and out for just this particular one. It just continues that way. All right. So that is what I want. So I'm done with these guys. So at this point where uh, they fly out, all these guys, I'm going to quickly start to check a couple of things. If I select this, not this, and this, and I want to look at this point where they fly out, I want to do some stuff here. So I will create a, sorry, I think I'll just do it from here. I'll just put it here. And this will be the keyframe, right? That's fine. And I'll change this to graph editor. If I just click on this normalize, you see what is happening here. So what I want to do for all of them is at this point, remember this is from here to here. I want to select all this keyframe and then let's, sorry. So I'm going to just select this to start with and then possibly move this down. Or we can just do rotation. But now the issue is the rotation is affecting this and I don't want that. So what I will do is I will try to break the tangent from what it is to a different tangent. So I'll make it free. I'll do the same thing for this. Right click, make it free. And I will do the same thing for this as well. Free, free. And why am I making it free? Is because I can just rotate. Oh, sorry. Yeah, actually is free. So I can move this like so, and do a separate thing that I want. So there are two different keyframes there. So this is it. So far, I think I'll have to run that again. Free, right click, free. Okay, G. All right. So I think I have to just click it twice for me to be able to see that. So I'll do the same thing for this right here. So that's not what we keyframe. We'll do this. G. So I might actually select this and just scale that in so that I know that even if I'm doing anything for this side, I'm not going to have any issues. So I'll just do the same thing for this guy, scale that in, and then I have the last one, S, scale that in. So what this means now, if I see it's just a little bit of movement, so I'll just do this here and select this S0, enter, and I can also select this, grab this like so, and then grab this like so. For no issues, I can just pick this S0, enter. So what I'm trying to do is just to refine the way this goes, but you can see it's now not looking really nice. So I think I'll just do a couple of undo and see what I have here. So let's just play through. So this is why we're having that. So I'll have to move this so it gives us that score. So we should have a smooth move. Okay, so that's fine. So I was actually trying to see if I can change the way the rotation or they fly out. So that will require me picking them one by one and doing that operation. So I'm trying to do it for all of these guys, so which um, might really not solve that. So let's get rid of the ones that we have logged for things that are not working. And so I did not record this, so these are there. And let's come here as well. I didn't record this, so just get rid of all of these guys. Go to the next one, turn them off. So we know what we are recording, so we'll come back. I think that's fine for that. And let's go to the next one. That's fine. Let's get rid of this. We didn't record that. We didn't record this. And we didn't record that. Okay. So it will start reducing that stuff. Well, let's just quickly look at the camera animation. So we want to have, as this thing is moving out, we want to have the camera slowly zooming out, right? So that's what we are trying to get right here. So let's go to this camera shot one right here. So if we go to the first keyframe, so I'm going to keyframe the position. So I'll just press I on my position. And as we move to the end, I want this to come back like so. And what I just want for this is I want to change my interpolation. I really do not need this rotation, so I'll delete them. The scale, I don't need them. For the Z, there's no change in Z, there's no change in X, so I'll delete it's only Y. So I'll press A for Y, right click, change my interpolation to linear. So it just goes linearly. You see what's happening? It's just gradually moving backward. So maybe I'll come to this point, move it back, and A, right click, not constant, linear. Again, don't forget, select this from here to here, delete, delete this, delete my X. So I just have this movement, see the way it's moving backwards. So I'll do the same thing for this. So in this case, I want to also move in. So this is the last frame for this camera. This is where I want the camera to end. So I'll come to the Z rotation of my camera, or I can just press this first. And then I'll go to the first keyframe. I want the camera to come close. And then again, I don't need all the scales up to rotation. I'll delete them. I don't need Z. I need Y. I don't need X. So for the Y, A, right click, change the interpolation to linear. So this is what we have. That is going back, and then this is also coming. You see the like, so it shows that there is a little bit of right. So we have that right here. So another thing I want to do is I want to have a little bit of a transition. So as this thing is going down, I want the camera to follow it a little bit down. All right. I want this camera to follow it a little bit down. So I'll just from here at this point, I'll go to the rotation, just press I here. And as it's going down like so, I want this to just look down a little bit. RX, just look down a little bit like so. And for this timing, I'm going to change the timing to somewhere here. So it feels like as it's going down, follows it. See? But I don't want it to start. I want it to start moving after the object is already started coming down. So I'll move this here so it doesn't start soon. So the object has started going before it follows. So let's say here. So, but I want to change the timing for this. So I'll just come to my camera. I'll move the camera timing a little bit sooner again, just like later. So we see the movements of this. We see from here, just very small, tiny movements. So I need to do this. And let's see. Yeah, see that? So as this thing is going down, so maybe we'll bring this up a little bit. So it shows that it's coming down, then it follows. Yeah, that's it. So as this thing is coming down, it tries to follow it, and then this camera comes back up. And then it switches to this. So what I want to do for this is that for this second camera, I'm going to select it. I want this camera to follow it all the way to this point. So I'll keyframe the rotation I. And then at this point where it's coming into the shot, I want the camera to also look up a little bit. And so it's going to be more like this is so, but I want the shot, the guy to come down more before it starts to move. So I can just move this a little bit inner here. So we can move this really nice. So it's just more like, so I'm thinking this is not fluid enough. I think I'll come to this other guy. I want the rotation. So this rotation will not be that so much. So instead of us having this, we just take this a little bit up. So it's not so much. Something like this. So it's moving from 90 to this. So maybe from 90, yeah, from 90 to maybe 89, just very small movement. And then for the second camera, this is the end game, which is 90. We want this to be like 91 or 92, and we just have something like this. Yeah, just very small movements. That's it. Yeah, that's actually this is better now. So this is perfect. So what I will do is I will just change this to linear as well, and then for this change it to linear as well. Sorry. All right. So sorry about the noise. So if you look at what we have, let me just quickly turn off this and let's play this through from the beginning. I can now turn off this so we can just see this flying in and see that. So now what we just need to do is look at the timing. I feel the timing is too fast. So we can just quickly work on the timing to move down. So let's start um, right here. So I'll just select everything, just press A on my keyboard to have everything selected right here. So you can see, including all the camera, everything in my scene. If you look through, it select everything. And why we want this is so that everything that is keyframe, we can scale them up together. So I'll change this to like 300 and then make sure I'm in this place. So I'll hit A also to select this and then I will scale this up. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to expand the timing so that the timing is a lot different and shorter. So we have this, that. So, and don't forget, while we move this guy, we forgot one more thing, Control Z. We forgot one more thing that this camera should also change. So we want the camera to always be at this point. So let's just scale this up. So we're already eyeballing where this is. So let's just do that. S to scale. So this is where we're looking at. So we'll just drag this to this point here. So let's play through and see what happens. We just, yeah. So it's still a little bit better, but the only thing we can just do is look at the end part where it's coming down. We might need to reduce the timing. So let's come to this point where it's coming down here, just between here and here. So let's kill this guy. So between here and here is where the problem is. So everything is still highlighted. So I will select this. Don't forget we are using this as a base. So let's move this backward. This is what we're looking at. So let's select this guy and then scale them up. So what this will do is just going to change the timing at this point. See? So if I play through, see that. So maybe here we want to, this is fine, but this place is kind of too slow. So what we can do is we can first off do this scale. So this is fine for me. I feel this place is fine. This place from here to here is fine. It's just this place that I need to bring close. So I'll just select this and move this here. Select this also, move this here. So if I play through, and this is what we have. So if I play everything now, you see that from the fast animation set we had, we've now been able to modify, and then it comes and then this settles. So this is the animation for the product review, for the lamp review. And if you feel this was helpful, please do give me a like and a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, please do subscribe because I do tutorials like this every day. So thank you for your time again. Do have a wonderful day and God bless you. Bye.